Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Views on News. We'll be talking about the Afghan, of course, humanitarian crisis in Pakistan efforts. We've had the Prime Minister time and again reiterate that the Afghan peace process, as far as America is concerned, their leaving is concerned, they need assistance, they need humanitarian, it's a humanitarian crisis, and of course the world must step up to do what they can to help Afghanistan. That case, of course, has been pleaded time and again by the Prime Minister, and Pakistan, of course, stands for the fact that there needs to be assistance for there to be lasting peace in Afghanistan. We'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about the ISK presence in Afghanistan and its ramifications for the region, for Pakistan also, and overall what it can mean for the peace of the region. All the partners we'll be talking about China. We'll be talking about the overall impact of this crisis and the fact that it can have on the world also as far as Afghanistan is concerned. All of that today on Views on News. I have with me Kaswar Kalasra, who is a senior journalist. Thank you for joining us today. We'll also be joined by Aslam Rizvi, who is a former ambassador. And we have with us Brigadier Retired Mahmood Shah, who's a senior analyst. Thank you for being with us today. Kaswar, how do you see this situation as it develops as far as Afghanistan is concerned? Of course, we've had time and again, reiterations, emphasis by the Prime Minister also on the fact that there needs to be that kind of humanitarian assistance after the US withdrawal. They can't just leave without the world realizing that there needs to be a humanitarian assistance at this time for the Afghanistan government, whichever government it may be, to stand on its own feet, because it is a humanitarian crisis at the end of the day. How do you see the situation?
Exactly, you rightly pointed out, and unfortunately Imran Khan, Prime Minister Imran Khan, is only the the world leader who has tried to draw the world attention because following the withdrawal of the United States from Afghanistan, and things are still tricky over. And I think the Prime Minister Imran Khan has taken a stand, and also you are well aware that 50% of the total population of Afghanistan, they are living behind the poverty line, and they don't have any, the adequate food, and hospitals are without the doctors over there. And I think in case if the world community did not listen to Prime Minister Imran Khan, even the Pakistan side, and definitely we will be at the verge of the humanitarian crisis of 21st century. So I think it's the right time for the world to accept the call made by the Prime Minister Imran Khan. They have to come forward because it's very important. And the one thing that is very important is that Pakistan, especially the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, has taken a stand. They have been calling upon the world community. We have, the hosted just recently, we have concluded, the conference that was attended by the Americans, the Chinese, and also the other world powers. I think this is the right time for the world community to accept the call from the Prime Minister Imran Khan to Pakistan, and definitely if they did not, definitely we will be having a great humanitarian crisis in 21st century.
Right, let me go to Brigadier Mahmood Shah. Brigadier Sahib, how do you see the situation? Do you think that the world will step up? Because, sadly the efforts till now are, rather wanting as far as the response of the world is concerned. We haven't seen them step up. We haven't seen them respond the way they should to what's happening in Afghanistan at this time. But do you think things can change, or they will? I'm sorry, I think there's a problem with audio. I'll ask the same question from you, Kalasra Sahab. Overall, we haven't seen that kind of response come from the world as far as Afghanistan is concerned. You saw Wendy Sherman's visit recently. We've seen the concern overall, what domestic situation that's currently happening in America also. But overall, that blame game also that's happening in America. All of that, do you think that the world will step up as far as Afghanistan is concerned? There is also, the optics of it when they say that the rights of women and rights of children, those are conditional. The crisis, the humanitarian assistance will be conditional on those rights being given. How do you see that situation panning out?
I think it's really unfortunate that the world response is very slow, and soon after following the withdrawal of United States from Afghanistan, we all knew that the Afghanistan will be prone to the humanitarian crisis as well. We all knew it already, but you must have noticed that only Pakistan and Chinese, they committed, they pledged the support to Afghanistan as well, and we can't see, any other countries after Pakistan and the Chinese. The Pakistan has been providing assistance to Afghanistan, no doubt about that, and it was followed by Chinese. But I'm very sorry to say, even the Americans, soon after the withdrawal, it was their moral responsibility to take care of the Afghanistan, the humanitarian side as well. Even at this point, according to my information, most of the hospitals are there are running without the doctors, without the necessary paramedical
Let me
staff.
come
But
back to you.
I think this is the high time for the world community to call to side with the Afghanistan, the people, children, and 50% of the total population of Afghanistan is desperately in need of food, in need of medicine.
Right.
And
The situation there is certainly
yeah,
quite
I
bad. Let
think
me
the
come
world
back to
community
you.
must take side with them.
Ji, let me come back to you. Ji, Brigadier Saab, we've been talking about the fact that there is, sadly the response as far as the world is concerned, and of course after the US withdrawal, we saw what happened post Wendy Sherman visit also. How do you see the situation in terms of what's happening in Afghanistan, in terms of humanitarian crisis, with Pakistan being rather part of a very small minority that's stressing on humanitarian assistance being given to Afghanistan, before we can expect anything from the Taliban government there?
Yes, I think it is the American have not been able to take the defeat with grace. It is a human tragedy which is building up. If U.S. and other powers, mostly Western power, continue with their attitude of discrimination against the poor people of Afghanistan, I think it will turn into a human tragedy. Pakistan is doing whatever it can do, and China is normally not up to such humanitarian sort of assistance at that level. Although they are very rich and they can step out of their normal routine and help the situation in Afghanistan. It is generally the U.S. policy that after what all has happened, they create destabilization in Afghanistan. And again, then this destabilization, they want to force it into Pakistan. And that is how they can stop progress on the CPEC. So this is their overall tragedy, and we knew that after they withdraw, the withdrawal is complete, they are going to sort of start with a policy which can start destabilization in this whole region.
When we talk about China and China's role in pledging any kind of support to Afghanistan is concerned, do you think, there's the way that China will help out is certainly, there's a lot being said in terms of infrastructure projects or in terms of building, like you are saying, of course, CPEC related, or, if we talk about, infrastructure development is concerned, which is what China is best known for, rather than pledging any straight out money, right?
Yes, of course. This is what I mean, that China, like US, has not been used to giving money on humanitarian aid, and they too in big sums. Like that's what Afghanistan needs at this time. But of course, once some stability returns to Afghanistan, then China will be prepared to invest in terms of like the CPEC routes, etc., for their extension into Central Asian republics and beyond. So they will be prepared to do that, and I think they intend to do it. But before that, whatever we are looking at Afghanistan now, there is a human tragedy developing.
Your volume is a little low, Ji.
Yes, it's just because they don't have money and people are really poor, and basic shortages like the food or clothing, and winter is setting in, and that money is not there. And Pakistan does not have that sort of money, and it is doing whatever it can do in terms of the public is giving some aids, and some trucks leaving for Afghanistan through Peshawar and through Quetta, so that whatever people they can feed, I'm sure they will. But the U.S. has given some amount, which is in terms of few crores, whereas the requirement is in terms of billions. For example, previously they used to give about 10 billion for the Afghanistan administration.
Right. Let me come back to you, Ji. I will just come back to you. I'm going to go to Kasper Saab. Ji, Kasper Saab, overall, as far as highlighting the crisis in Afghanistan is concerned, the efforts that Pakistan has made, what do you think we can do? I mean, do you think we can take more steps as far as, pleading the case of what's happening in Afghanistan to the world? Of course, it's quite clear, but like I said, there is a situation and the world doesn't seem to be doing anything about it.
Well, Pakistan has limitation, and you have rightly pointed out that the Pakistan had done enough, for Afghanistan until now. We have been approaching the world to give them recognition. We have been calling upon the world community to give at least humanitarian assistance. And one of the most important points that was raised by Prime Minister Imran Khan and Shah Mahmood Qureshi as well, that at least if the world community is not in a position to send the humanitarian aid and other things as well, but at least defreeze their the money, defreeze their accounts, so that, because humanitarian crisis is already on the ground there, it's not knocking on the door, it's already there, as I told you earlier, and Brigadier Saab has raised the very beautiful point as well. The hospitals are running without doctors, and the Afghanistan, the government, entire government doesn't have enough money to pay to the paramedical staff to buy the medicine and other things. I think this is enough for the world community to get to wake up, and this is what Prime Minister Imran Khan has telling again and again to the community. So I think Pakistan has raised a very good point. First of them is defreeze their account, and secondly, it has been calling upon the world community, including the Chinese, Americans, European Union as well, to actually recognize them, because soon after the interim government in Afghanistan get recognition, I think things can simplify for them as well. But I think Pakistan is single-handedly fighting the case for Afghanistan around the globe, and I think it is high time for the world community, including Americans, to accept Pakistan demand, because this is the only thing I think world community has to listen to.
Let me come back to you. I'm going to go to Aslam Rizvi Saab. Ji, Aslam Saab, overall the situation at this time, the Prime Minister talked about Afghanistan even when he went to Saudi Arabia. Wendy Sherman's visit, post Wendy Sherman visits, the way that the Prime Minister has talked about the issue as far Afghanistan crisis, the humanitarian crisis. Overall, do you see the situation changing? In terms of course, the overall, even if the recognition issue, if we keep it aside, in terms of assistance, do you think that there are countries that can step forward or will step forward to assist Afghanistan? Ji, can you hear me? No, I don't think that he can. Ji, let me go to Brigadier Mahmood Shah. Brigadier Saab, overall, like I said, the same question to you. Overall, we've seen the situation, in the world post Wendy Sherman visit. We've also seen her come and say that it's a one-point agenda, narrow, all of that. And then we've had, even after that, we've had the Prime Minister again appeal to the world for there to be that kind of engagement that's needed at this time, purely on a humanitarian level. But, with the Afghan government where it is at this time, the rights of women being an issue, the rights of, giving them education, all of those things being an issue. Within the Afghan Taliban also, there seems to be, things are not very, there seems to be some division. There's talk of that also within their own ranks. overall, how do you see the situation in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months in Afghanistan? Do you think that they're ready for the long haul? Because there's a lot of talk about the fact that look, they've been fighting this war for a long time. So on the one hand, they have anticipated or they've gotten used to the conditions, the rough conditions of Afghanistan at this time, and that's not a reality that's new to them.
I think the basic thing is when we look at
The
long
volume,
haul.
please.
Yes, when we look at long haul, I think the Afghan Taliban, they need a sort of model before them as to what sort of government or state they want to have. Like the Iranians, they have worked out a model, and according to that model,
Brigadier Sahab, can
they
I
are
request
working.
you to talk a little loudly, or they can adjust the volume because I'm finding it difficult to hear. Ji.
So I would say that they lack a model in their mind, or they have
Okay.
not worked out as to what sort of government they are going to have. And I think if they have that model, after all, it is the biggest sort of firqa that is Sunni throughout the world. This is the first government that they want to have on Islamic system. They need to have a model, but they have not worked out a model. The previous Taliban government, probably they were not educated enough, but the present one is educated, and they
You're saying that
know
they
the religion
needed to have a
backward.
model on which to base their governance style on.
Yes, of course, that will decide everything. Like the small questions are being asked, what will be the role of women, what sort of freedom they will have, and things like this. All these are very settled issues in the Islamic concept. They can sort of here we have the Jamaat Islami. They have done a lot of writing on this, and I think they have done a lot of working. They should go forward and advise them if they don't have that sort of knowledge with them, and they should work out overall a model. Meanwhile, I would say that the present situation
But
is
Brigadier
only.
Sahab, does this have to do with, in your opinion, does this have to do with the fact that they don't have the knowledge, the expertise, or does this have to do with the fact that the principles on which that they're forming government, they had on the one hand when they came into power said quite, they said quite vociferously at the time that they will. It's a different Taliban. There was this talk of that. There was also talk of the fact that they intended to give rights to women. They intended to give rights, they intended to be more liberal, so to speak. But do you think it has to do with the fact that even within their own ranks, that opinion is divided? So they haven't
I
been
think
able to come
they
out.
don't have a model,
Okay.
worked out model. For example, the Iranian worked out a system, and they implemented that, and they had at their service very, very educated people. There was one Mr. Rashad who was done a lot of education in philosophy, and I think he gave them a lot of bits. These issues in Islam are settled issues as to woman will be liberal or would not be liberal, and to what extent, and things like this. These are all as far as Sunni
Yes,
sect is
they
concerned.
are settled issues, but they're not settled as far as the Taliban is concerned. Isn't that true?
Yes, the Taliban have to work out a system that, okay, this is the system for which we are working. So many other things that they have to work. Will they have elections? And if they have elections, what sort of people they would allow to take part in the elections? And there are many other issues of governance. For that, they have to have a model. And all these things should be discussed among themselves, whatever shura they have, and they should agree on this, and there should be no going left and right of that. Islam is not for something that you discuss and you come to. For example, in the previous government, people were saying that they have not been able to decide what should be the length of beard and things like this. These are
Okay, let me
very
come back
small
to you.
issues.
Let me discuss the same thing with Kalasra Sahab. Ji, Kalasra Sahab, according to Brigadier Sahab, he's saying that they don't have a model. that is where they're lacking, in his opinion. That is the problem as far as the governance of the Taliban is concerned. And that is why they're grappling with whether to give rights to women, issues like this, how liberal to be, rather than there being any real disagreement. Do you agree?
I think the Taliban government we are dealing with right now. One thing is very clear about them. They are totally different from them what we have seen during their last regime. They are, they have shown they are one of the world's best diplomats,
Okay.
and also the thing and the way they have, managed things back home in Afghanistan. That shows that they has learned from the past as well.
But if
Whenever-
they're such good diplomats, why haven't they been able to engage the world to give them
Exactly,
some
exactly. That is the point. That is the point the Taliban government will have to ponder upon, because giving right to the people, to especially to the women, the children, and also manage things so that they can send the girls to schools and colleges and universities is one of the things that world community is really
Do you
desperate.
think they were anticipating? There has been a lot of talk about the fact that, of course, they knew,
Yeah.
they knew, when they were fighting this war, they knew that the conditions that they were exposed to, they have been exposed to for a while now. These are not new for them. They are used to quite rough conditions, and as far as the Americans leaving are concerned,
Yeah.
they're not. They'll be able to exist even without that kind of assistance, because, like I said, they're used to the way that they have been operating for a while now.
Well, you had raised a very good point, but the thing is, you have to, when we discuss situation there in Afghanistan, we have to accept the reality as well. Infrastructure have been broken totally. They
Yes.
don't have money to, to renovate the schools, colleges, and other things. But when we talk about, the given rights to the women and children, unfortunately, Taliban have not shown maturity over there, and this is why the world community is, not ready to give them, the recognition and other things as well. And Taliban lost weight only when we discuss this kind of, the things there in Afghanistan. This is something Taliban government has to improve as well. But on the other hand, you have to appreciate that they have been given, Afghanistan, which is totally different from, pre-withdrawal. The infrastructure has been broken, and they don't have money to
But
operate
what were they
schools,
expecting?
colleges,
They
and
were
other
fighting
things
a
as well.
war for a long time. Of course, I mean the dilapidated
Yeah.
conditions are not something new to them. I mean they would have expected that.
But
that's the
without
kind
them, how can you expect them to, do well without the infrastructure, without money, and without the basic things? I think at this point we have to give space to Taliban government as well. Maybe and on as they say all the time that we have just the constituted the government is the first phase, and in second phase they promise that we will have inclusive government as well. The woman will be given participation in the government making as well. So I think at this stage we should give some sort of space to the Afghanistan government, but without money, without recognition from the world community, you can't expect. Sorry to say, the marvelous from the Taliban side as well. They have their story as well, and we have to listen to them as well.
Right, Ji, Brigadier Saab, in terms of what's happening in the region, in terms of what's happening with the Afghanistan, what about the very real threat of ISIS-K? How do you see the situation? Because, Pakistan, the Prime Minister has also been saying that itself is of, grave concern, should be of grave concern for the region and therefore for the world also. But, of course, we haven't seen the reaction that should have come out. But how do you see this threat overall? Do you think that, how concerning is it in your opinion? And how much of a threat is it?
Yes, I think Afghan Taliban are quite capable of defeating these elements. They are militarily very strong. It's going to take a little time because these guys, they have been introduced by forces who are behind them, like the Americans and so on and so forth. This IS, they can defeat them. But that is going to take some time, and probably the damage is going to occur in certain cases, but they are going to defeat them. If any force in the world is there to defeat Daesh and IS in Afghanistan, it's the Afghan Taliban. So it
But
should
why don't
be
we see? I mean, if that's a reality to defeat the Daesh and all of these ISIS-K, these elements, then why doesn't the world, so to speak, if they're so concerned, take by the world I mean the West also, primarily, why don't they take advantage of that, help them out, so that they can be used to counter that threat?
I think the basic purpose of the Western country is to introduce destabilization into Afghanistan.
Okay.
They are the ones who are behind Daesh. They are the ones who are behind the IS. And Taliban are going to defeat them. Like they defeated many forces. For example, the hue and cry that you heard from India and from America as to how Taliban overcame that resistance in that valley which was previously being played against Taliban. And they defeated them in no time, and they said whether Pakistan helped or the Air Force, Pakistan Air Force helped and things like this. So they are the ones who are behind. They will say a few words politically here and there, but actually these are the forces. But we should remember Taliban defeated actually the American forces or the forces of the West who were there. So they are going to defeat this Daesh and IS.
What about India's role as far as as far as ISIS-K is concerned?
Sorry, say again.
I'm saying, what about India's role in perpetrating that kind of terrorism in Afghanistan, through Afghanistan?
Yes, India presently does not have capability really to affect situation in Afghanistan. And they would like to do it, and the US would like to use them, but I think they will be handicapped. They probably will not be able to affect the situation. Like this whole thing which has happened, radically, it has changed the balance of power in this small region. Previously, India thought, and they made a lot of investment in Afghanistan, and I don't know how did they think, or that shows their naivety, that they thought that they will be able to stay there in Afghanistan for longer. This, what happened to the US forces, could be foretold. As far as we were concerned, we can even say to them that if you had not withdrawn and delayed your withdrawal for another 5 years or for another 10 years, the situation would have been the same. The result would have been the same. And we can tell even India that you cannot succeed in Afghanistan. This is how the Afghans take you inside their heart. It is a different thing that when you offer money and you have these things available to them, they are going to say so many things to you. But we know it, reality, you cannot stay there. So India presently is handicapped, and they called all the NSS and wanted to have a thing, and they also said that we are going to repeat this after 2-3 years and again look at situation. One asked, what can you do in Afghanistan? Really, they don't have any capability. They can't do anything in Afghanistan. So that's a thing, and that's why altering the balance of power in the region, where Pakistan really rose up in its supporters, and India went down as far as Afghanistan is concerned. And now the question is of rebuilding Afghanistan to the efforts of other countries, and regionally we want the Soviet Union to come forward because of the situation which the Central Asian republics are facing. For their sake, Russia would like to help, but presently they are.
Let me come back to you. Let me go to Kasper Sabji. Kasper, do you agree as far as India is concerned with what Brigadier Saab is saying? He's saying that they're not really as much a threat vis-a-vis Afghanistan.
Well, I think soon after taking, the Afghanistan, Taliban has done 2 or 3 things. First of them, they cut, the supply to the ISIS as well. Indians has been doing things there in Afghanistan for I think 15 or 16 years, and we must appreciate Pakistan's army,
Yes.
and especially ISI. They did beautiful thing, and I think this time I see very limited role by the Indian hostile agencies there in Kabul, because you know what India has done to the Taliban regime pre-withdrawal, that is very clear to them as well. So I think India is left with very limited role over there, but ISIS KP is one of the serious threat, because now they have, according to my information, they have joined hands with the Balochistan Liberation Army and the Panjshir fighters, I mean the resistant forces. We cannot neglect their, the influence there as well. So now the biggest threat when it comes to discuss, this situation on the ground in Afghanistan is the law and order. Afghanistan's regime cannot, completely hold Afghanistan until they, cut cut the supply between, ISIS KP, resistance forces, and BLA. And this is they have done beautifully. And as we have seen, that Taliban soon after taking, the Kabul, first thing that they did is they sent their, the representatives to the TTP as well. And don't forget, we must appreciate Taliban side when it comes to, the make possibility of an agreement that was signed between Pakistan and the TTP as well. Well, I think Indian has very limited role, but Afghanistan, the Afghanistan Taliban, the regime over there will have to tackle, single-handedly the ISIS threat, because pre-withdrawal, when we discuss
According to Brigadier Saab, he seems like he said that in his opinion they're quite capable of doing that.
Yes, they are capable, because India has been supporting them
Even
for
with the
15
kind of
to 16
resources
years.
that they have at this time.
For 15 and 16 years, India has been supporting them covertly. No, it will take time, but I think.
Yes, but as far as overall the situation.
Yeah, Taliban has capacity to deal with them,
okay.
because before that Taliban has taken over Kandahar and other discs from ISIS as well. Even when American was there, Taliban have been fighting ISIS KP Khorasan province, and they did beautiful thing over there. They have capability. Afghanistan regime had the capacity to deal with both with the Indian influence and as well as the terrorist organization like the ISKP as well. But I think the world community must not leave Afghanistan regime lonely when it's come to maintain law and order over there, and humanitarian crisis is always, as you have discussed it. I think the world community needs to back Afghanistan regime, and lastly, this is the high time for
Let me come back to you. We have with us Shahid MG Kiani, who is a former ambassador. Ji Shahid Sahab, thank you for joining us. Overall, we've been discussing the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan and also the world response or lack thereof as far as Afghanistan is concerned. How do you see the situation in terms of the ISIS-K threat? Overall, there seems to be agreement here that Taliban are capable of handling any kind of threat that may come from those quarters.
You see, we have been sharing with Taliban, even with there is a rebound. It is on record that the previous regime, Mr. Ghani's regime, we have been sharing with them the threat of of terrorism in Afghanistan spilling over into Pakistan and within Afghanistan itself. Now and then we also shared with Taliban also. The problem is now it's a twin problem which Afghanistan the Taliban are facing. One is that they are facing a humanitarian crisis. If you look at our Prime Minister Imran Khan had said few days back, and we've been saying it again and again, that the first important thing is saving the Afghan people, children, women, old people, others. Humanitarian crisis, both in terms of food, in terms of medicines, and now they are in a catch-22 situation. Taliban, by the United States denies Iqbal, Kabul access to nearly $9 billion dollars of state funds in American banks. And the Taliban government is unable to conduct any commercial or financial transaction. This is something important. And then another one is the IS presence and its threat. Not a day goes when the IS do not attack mosques and injures and kills innocent Afghans. So these are problems in which the Taliban government needs to the world needs to have a better understanding of what Taliban are doing. Now, just few days back, the European Union promised $2 billion worth of funds to alleviate the food crisis in Afghanistan. But that money is yet to be seen. And then there will be another problem which the Taliban themselves understand, but they do not share, and that is how would that money will be distributed and how would the food be distributed. They do not have the wherewithal. This is something which again these aid agencies need to understand, and the Taliban need to allow the aid agencies to go to the hinterland inside of Afghanistan to distribute food and medicines. This is something. This humanitarian crisis has to be avoided. Why? For the last 4 decades, the Afghan people have not seen any peace. Now that the Taliban are here, by and large, they have a law and order situation under control. But at the same time, they are now starved of food and medicines. This has to be avoided.
What about the recognition overall as far as Afghanistan is concerned? Do you think that, are they any closer to that kind of recognition that, of course, that is needed as far as Afghanistan is concerned? Of course, we have said that regardless of recognition, the world should at least step up and give, them humanitarian aid, which is what, they need at this time. But what is your take on the recognition issue?
You see, even earlier, when we had recognized Taliban and UAE and Saudi Arabia also were part of that recognition during Prime Minister Benazir's government, people criticized us. They don't realize that not to recognize Afghanistan may be a luxury of other regional countries. For Pakistan and Iran, who share a very long border with Afghanistan, we cannot just sit across and say that okay, we don't recognize. For us to secure our borders, for security, it's extremely important that we recognize. But at the same time, we have adopted another way of recognizing what you call a regional approach, like China, Russia, countries which are sympathetic to Taliban. They understand, and they also have the same threat of the terrorism spilling over in their borders. So we and them are the same path. I think we are more or less close to a recognition which may come today or tomorrow. But the first most important thing here, which I would reiterate, and the Prime Minister said it again and again, I think Russia and China also are cognizant of the fact that the first thing is not recognition. That can come later on. But the first most important thing is recognizing the humanitarian crisis which has engulfed Afghanistan. This is most important. They need to be helped. And the United States should unfreeze $9 billion. How much the $9 billion will carry Afghanistan for how many months?
But how do you see the situation overall as far as post-Wendy Sherman visit is concerned? Do you see the US perhaps thawing a little bit over the Afghan issue or no, not at all?
What has happened is that after, you see, the most important thing for the US government is to, the Biden government administration needs to understand is, they've already recognized Taliban. They signed an agreement with them. So once they've done it, what stops them as far as giving rights to the women and girls in education? This can come later on. Believe it or not, the most important thing is ensuring that the Afghan population survives. If they will survive, they will be given rights. If they don't survive, what do? The US government should rise above these trivialities of giving, rights of women and this and that, or fundamental rights. Well, that should also be conditional, but not conditional that on the basis that they will
On
not
the
be
humanitarian
they will not
assistance.
unfreeze, they will not give them any assistance just unless they give right to Afghans. This is laughable, I believe it or not.
Ji, Brigadier Saab, do you agree?
Yes, I do. And the solution is that whatever the Taliban do or they do not do, at this particular time they need humanitarian assistance. And of course, when we are talking about a model of government, or we are talking about including inclusive government, they are good things for a long-term policy matter. But presently, it is only a humanitarian sort of help which they need, and they have their own money, about 9 to 10 billions, and the U.S. has frozen that money. So I think they need to release that money and also give humanitarian aid sufficiently so that the people can be helped in this. And as far as policy matters are concerned, they are doing well, but I think they need to do more, or maybe they consider themselves in a long-term situation as to what are they going to do, what sort of government they are going to establish so that they become acceptable. With few actions, like we say that the woman would get liberty or thing like this, these are very small things when it comes to a policy, overall policy, government. Look at the model of Iran. They everybody can see what they do, what is the level of liberty of women they have allowed or they can allow, what are the educational institutions in the country, they are functioning, people are getting education, and so on and so forth. So I think these are the aspects which can be only discussed. For the remaining, presently, it is a human tragedy and they need help.
Kalastra Saab. Ji, Kalastra, before we close, we're running out of time. Your quick comments.
Oh, well, I think Taliban government needs time, and they will show their true color as well. Humanitarian assistance without money, they can do anything. They have established their rule across Afghanistan, but one thing is clear, the government of Afghanistan needs assistance, needs help from the community. This is what Pakistan is doing.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. Kasper Kalastra Saab, thank you for joining us. Aslam Rizvi, Brigadier Mahmood Shah, Shahid Khayani, thank you for being with us today. As far as Afghanistan is concerned, of course, primarily the issue of humanitarian assistance is one that nobody can dispute. Afghanistan needs at this time, and that is crucial for there to be. Like Shahid Khayani Saab said, and overall, of course, the opinion seems to be if there is no population, if there are no women, if there are no children, then the question of rights ceases to exist. Therefore, we all must try, the world must try to assist Afghanistan, no matter what, whatever can be done at this time, because of course it's a war-torn, war-ravaged region at this time with little resources, dilapidated infrastructure. All of those things are a reality, and the world must see that. Thank you so much for joining us today on News on News.